Right, if you're anything like me, you love movies, and when you watch a movie, all you can do is think about health and safety.
No, just you.
So let's ruin Star Wars. Right, so we're in Star Wars A New Hope. Here we go. And poor old R2-D2 has just been shot by the Jawas. Now let's pay close attention to what the Jawas do here. They want to get R2-D2 onto their giant tank, tug, whatever it is. Now they've got a vehicle full of droids. These droids are basically slaves. Instead of using droids to carry R2-D2, they're going to pick him up manually. They just pick him up. There we go, six Jawas to an R2 unit. It's like, you know, 6 soldiers to a coffin. You know, they've done a pretty good job. Well, actually, if you look at them carefully, how many are there? 1, 2, 4, 5. 5! You've got 3 on one side, 2 on the other. They're not even actually very well balanced. And they're going over some pretty rough terrain as well. Lots of trip hazards, lots of unevenness there. So, frankly, that's not great. I would just avoid the manual handling and get a droid to do that. I'm sure they've got one. Now, one of the biggest risks in Star Wars is work at height. There are height issues just everywhere. Everywhere. They haven't heard of the work at height regulations. This is Luke's house on Tatooine. So he runs over, does a little jump over the trip hazard. Look, there it is. Like, that's his house. Can you imagine raising a young Luke Skywalker in this place? Look at the height of that. By law, you'd have like a guardrail around it or something. It's not just the height as well. This is pretty much like a confined space because it's deep. And, I mean, I don't know if that's made of rock. I don't know what type of soil that is, but I suspect that could just like collapse on people underneath it. It's really not very ideal, is it? Look around here. There you go. No guardrail on that little balcony there. No handrail on any of the stairs. It looks like some kind of door there. My goodness. Absolutely horrified. Right, that's not the only work at height hazard. Let's take a look at another one. There's some kind of bridge inside Luke's house. If you look behind Luke, there it is. There it is. Look at that. That's like a bridge. Some kind of industrial bridge. We've got a tow board. All right, brilliant. Tow board in case, you know, you kick something off the edge. Where's the guardrail? Where's the guardrail? Seriously. We're going to watch him run across that in a moment. There he goes. See, there he goes. He just ran across it there. It's dark and it's night time as well. Imagine if Uncle Owen got drunk one night and went staggering across that. Speaking of Uncle Owen, here he is, hungover. He's like, Luke, where are you? Where is everyone?
Luke!
Hell of an echo, isn't it?
Luke!
Right, let's go on the Death Star now. Loads of work at height issues on the Death Star. Trip hazards as well. Look at the little robot. Look at that big hole. Look at that giant hole. Then they stand with their backs to it. What an absolute mess. All you need is like a guardrail. Just need a guardrail of some kind. It could be a flexible one, something which kind of pops up and pops down as and when needed. Yeah, they could automate that. I'm sure they could. All right, let's change topic now. Let's talk about radiation. All right, so this is a scene where Alderaan gets destroyed. Look at these poor souls that are in this control room and next to the laser. So, really complicated control room. You can imagine the amount of human error in this place. And look at these poor guys. Look at that. Giant laser beam. Not a shield in sight. My goodness, they're right next to it. They can feel the radiant heat coming off of this thing. And they're cowering to protect themselves. Look at that. We should go back again. Oh, these guys are cushy, aren't they? They're in their control room, all protected. They've probably got lead shielding and all sorts around them. They're fine. Ah, the heat, I can't take it. Yeah, well, what about those poor souls and Alderaan? They couldn't take it either. All you need is some kind of barrier, some kind of shield between you and the radiation source, and that'll take out a lot of that heat. Now let's talk about lightsabers. Lightsabers, bloody lethal things, aren't they? I mean, just imagine if you dropped it and you didn't turn it off. Imagine if you let go of it, you're swinging it around and let go of it and it just flies around. In the UK, we would probably put some kind of hold to run device on a lightsaber. So you have to like keep, just a trigger basically. You have to keep your finger on the trigger and it stays on. And the moment you drop it and let go, it turns off. That would be an important safety feature. And I always believed they would have that until I saw this bit right here. So we've got Luke right there. Watch him closely. Watch him very closely. And did you see it? Did you see him switch it off? He pauses and he clicks it. He clicks his little switch. How Jedis don't accidentally kill themselves, I don't know. Right, another thing on the Death Star are the doors. The doors are absolutely lethal. Let's just watch this. So he presses the button. Watch how fast this thing is. Watch how fast. The boom! Boom! Imagine if you were under that. You'd think there'd be some kind of sensor, wouldn't you, to like stop it from coming down. You know, I'm not so sure. Not so sure. Watch this. So here's Han Solo running through a door. Watch. Whoa! Look at that. Imagine if he had mistimed that. He'd just get instantly squashed. Watch that again. They're saying, close the blast doors, close the blast doors. The things are closing. Is there any kind of light sensor, light beam to stop someone from being chopped in two? No. Now, in fairness, it's like maybe on, say, on a ship or a submarine, something like that, that would be quite normal. You just need it to close, and if you get trapped, you get trapped. The goal is to save the entire deck or save the entire ship. So maybe that's okay. But let's watch this other door issue. So we've got the stormtroopers. They're going to barge their way into this office where the droids are hiding. Watch how one of them bumps his head. Look, it didn't go... Oh! The door didn't go all the way up. Let's watch that again. So watch how the door doesn't go all the way up. Look, it pauses. It kind of just stops there. And this poor stormtrooper, who's a bit taller than Luke Skywalker, he walks in and boom! Boom! Definitely got some movement of people in the workplace issues here, haven't we? Let's check out another work at height hazard. Here's ObiWan Kenobi. And he is about to deactivate the tractor beam. Once again, not a guardrail in sight. Not one. He could just fall off that. He's like an old man. You know, older people are much more likely to suffer a fatal injury in the workplace for various reasons. And here, look, he's literally just creeping his way around there. Now, strictly speaking, you wouldn't even want a guardrail to solve this problem. You would just avoid the work at height because you would move the tractor beam controls to another location. You might have it on some kind of phone or some kind of tablet, or you'd put it in the control room where the droids were hiding. You'd move it somewhere to avoid situations like this. Alright, it's not all about work at height and doors and mechanics. We've got some stress and mental health issues. And here we've got a scene where Princess Leia starts to become a mental health first aider for Luke. Not a very good one though. Let's listen. So he's all depressed. He's just seen his mentor, ObiWan Kenobi, get killed or sacrifice himself to enable them to escape.
There wasn't anything you could have done.
What? What? Like, oh, mental health first aiders are not counsellors. They're not counsellors. The job of a mental health first aider is first of all to provide a safe place, a non-judgmental space for someone to offload. They have to be able to listen without judging in either a negative or a positive way. They should be sympathetic, but without affirming, agreeing, or condemning, or anything like that. Because that can actually be harmful. Just saying, there now, it'll all be okay. I know we want to say that because, it's kind of the kind thing to do. We want to reassure people, make them feel better. But that can be pretty harmful. That can be very harmful. Speaking from someone who's got quite a psychotherapy background, I'm trained in psychotherapy and I've done a lot of psychotherapy as a client. It's like sometimes there's guilt and sometimes the guilt is deserved. And telling people, oh no, you shouldn't feel guilty at all. No, sometimes you should, and you need to work through that in order to repent for what you did and then work out why you did it and then fix the cause of why you behaved in the way that you did. And saying, there now, wasn't your fault, you couldn't do anything. That's actually quite hurtful to long-term growth. I mean, if we just took another example, take someone who's just cheated on his wife or a woman who's just cheated on her husband and then, it all gets found out and then they split up and then they feel awful and guilty. Oh, there now, there's nothing you could have done. Pretty harmful, yeah? What if you saw your best friend die in some horrible accident because you failed to do the right thing, which was to press a button, intervene, say something, saying, oh, there now, it's okay, there's nothing you could have done. Yes, there bloody well was. In fairness to Luke, there probably was nothing that he could have done in this case. Oh, there now, it's okay, there's nothing you could have done. It's not Princess Leia's role to say anything. She's not a counsellor, she's not a psychotherapist. If she were a mental health first aider, she's getting booted off the team. Anyway, watch this. This is where Luke cheers the hell up.
Come on, buddy, we're not out of this yet.
Come on, buddy, we're not out of this yet. Look at the energy. Look, he comes back to life. A sense of urgency, a sense of purpose is found. They are under attack. And if he doesn't stop moping and whining and get off his backside, they're all going to die. And this is one of the crazy things about mental health and stress, is that, and I've been very, very stressed in my time. I've wanted to quit everything at times. And then all of a sudden, something happens which changes the paradigm, changes your perspective entirely. And you're like, whoa, I'm back in the zone, because now I've got a mission. I've got an important thing which needs doing, and it needs doing urgently. And this is way more important. And well, let's just see how this affects Luke. So he's battling for his life to save himself and his friends. And all of a sudden, here he goes, bang! Look at the smile on that face! I got him! Look at the smile! See how he's perked up all of a sudden. And often, a listening ear helps, a shoulder to cry on helps. It does, believe me, it does. And yet there are some times when giving you something important to do, giving you a sense of meaning and purpose and responsibility is also a very effective way sometimes to get people out of that depressed attitude that they have.
You have failed me for the last time.